Hello and welcome to A Mindful Moment. I'm Justin Epstein, author of the top-selling book Super You and minister of the Unity Center of New York City. We're continuing today with our study of Eckhart Tolle's book, The Power of Now. We're looking at chapter 1, number 28 in looking at chapter 1. And on page 23, he writes, basically, all emotions are modifications of one primordial, undifferentiated emotion that has its origin in the loss of awareness of who you are beyond name and form. Well, that's an interesting idea. I've never heard that before, that there's just one emotion that comes about when we lose the awareness of who and what we are. You know, if you were to look at the story in Genesis about Adam and Eve, they were in this wonderful connection with Source, with Spirit, with God, and then they were kicked out of the garden. So they lost their awareness of their sense of connection and oneness, and were stuck in this undifferentiated emotion. I don't know how he figured that one out, but it's interesting. He says, because of its undifferentiated nature, it is hard to find a name that precisely describes this emotion. Fear comes close. But apart from a continuous sense of threat, it also includes a deep sense of abandonment and incompleteness. So he's describing this pain, this undifferentiated emotion that we feel when we're not in attunement with that connectedness or sense of oneness or presence, includes feelings of abandonment and incompleteness. In other words, something's missing inside of us. It may be best to use a term that is as undifferentiated as that basic emotion and simply call it pain. So instead of calling it some kind of emotion like fear or loneliness or something else, he's calling it pain. One of the main tasks of the mind is to fight or remove that emotional pain, which is one of the reasons for its incessant activity. But all it can ever achieve is to cover it up temporarily. So we sense the inner pain from our disconnect, and the mind goes to work to try to get rid of that pain, but it's not able to. That reminds me of something that Michael Singer talks about in his book, The Untethered Soul, another fantastic book, where he says that, have you ever noticed your mind constantly talking? You know, it's going on and on and on. He says that's the mind's effort to get rid of its pain. So they're saying the same thing. In fact, the harder the mind struggles to get rid of the pain, the greater the pain. The mind can never find the solution, nor, this is very interesting what he says, nor can it afford to allow you to find the solution because it is itself an intrinsic part of the problem. Isn't that fascinating? The mind's trying to get out of the pain because we've lost sense of our connectedness with Source, our sense of oneness with God. We've lost awareness of that, so we have this inner pain. Our mind tries to get rid of it, but it can't because it's part of the problem. Imagine a chief of police trying to find an arsonist when the arsonist is the chief of police. That would be a problem. So the mind is trying to get rid of the source of the disconnection and the pain, but the mind is the cause of the pain. The mind is the cause of the disconnect. You will not be free of that pain until you cease to derive your sense of self from identification with the mind, which is to say, from ego. The mind is then toppled from its place of power and being, reveals itself as your true nature. So, the mind is the problem. And the mind's trying to get out of the problem, but the mind is part of the problem. And the more we think, I'm my mind, I'm my thoughts, I'm my opinions, that mind is all almighty, then we're going to be forever trapped in the web of the mind. But when we learn to identify with consciousness itself, to observe the mind, to observe the emotions, then we're no longer trapped. Then the mind loses its power in a negative sense. Then we become free. So that's where we're headed, ladies and gentlemen. Let's keep practicing. Let's keep being the observer, the watcher of the mind and emotions. Let's keep seeking to be present in the moment and be aware in the moment so that we can experience more of our true being. Thanks for joining me for this mindful moment, and we'll continue with more insights next time for another mindful moment. We'll see you then. Thank you for joining me for a mindful moment. Remember to subscribe to my channel for more mindful moments as they go live. Click above for a list of previous mindful moments to enjoy on your own time, anytime.